Welcome, and good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Zena Taylor, and I'm your worship associate for this morning. Thank you for being here with us, whether you're joining us in the pews or online. Between the service and lunch bunch, we'll share coffee and conversation in the gathering place just outside. Each Sunday, members of our lay pastoral ministry team, which we call the LPMT, are here in the sanctuary during and after the service to listen to any immediate pastoral care needs. You can tell the members of the LPMT by their yellow name tags, and several are here today. If you're on the LPMT team and you'll be available to talk with folks after the service, could you please wave your arms around so that we can thank you, and plates here at the front or the box at the back of the sanctuary, either during the service or after. And welcome to Emerson. We're delighted that you're here. And now, please enjoy our prelude as we formally begin our service. As we gather in community, we look within ourselves and to each other for strength, restoration, and inspiration, so that as we journey together, we catch the spark of the eternal Spirit, and from that spark, we light our chalice flame. Lighting the chalice flame symbolizes to all that the spirit of our congregation is strong, and that our will to transform ourselves and the world is also strong. We light the flame with gratitude. We light the flame in memory of all who have gone before, in honor of those who are here now, and with joy for those yet to come. As Hans Koster lights our chalice flame here in the sanctuary, I invite those of you among us from home to light a chalice or a candle of your own. Layman Pang is a Buddhist layperson who lived 1,500 years ago. He was celebrated in the Chinese Zen tradition and is considered to demonstrate the potential for non-monastic Buddhist followers to live an exemplary life and to be fully awakened. Here are his thoughts for today. Please join me in reading the words as they appear on the screen. My life used to be nothing but chopping wood and carrying water. But now that I have received enlightenment, I find that all it is necessary for me to live is to chop wood and to carry water.
Good morning once again. My name is Nina, and my pronouns are she, they, and I'm a seminarian on the path toward UU Parish Ministry. I will also be the intern serving multiple UU churches in Houston next church year, so I look forward to more opportunities to know and serve this beloved community. Thank you for welcoming me here today. I steadfastly believe that care is our currency and that in times of immense change and pain, all we have is each other. It is our togetherness that makes each moment sacred. So come now into this space. Feel your body and breath and spirit arrive. Your weariness, joys, apathy, hopes, wonderings, fatigues, and fears are all welcome here. As we work to create beloved community, we welcome all who would join us in building a better world with more love, more justice, and more peace. We welcome all who would join us in growing in mind and heart and spirit. We welcome all who would join us in tearing down systems of oppression of all kinds. And we welcome all who would join their purposes to ours in a loving spirit of right relationship. Please now join me in our welcoming words. They are on the screen. Whoever you are, wherever you come from, wherever you find yourself on life's journey, whichever your pronouns, whether you've walked in or rolled in or dialed in, whomever you love, you are welcome here. And when we come together, we get to practice the inclusivity that we want to see in our wider world. So today, move in ways that your body or your spirit needs. It's okay if you need to wiggle or sleep or fidget or stand up or step away. All bodies are welcome. And now we have our presentation of This Week in Unitarian Universalist History with M.C. Swearingen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote the inherent dignity and worth of every person. Even filthy, dirty, injured, angry, exhausted children whose slobbered words we barely can understand. Thank you, Lotta Hitchmanova in the 1930s and beyond. Lotta Hitchmanova, you were ready with compassion as your own parents had disappeared into Auschwitz. Lotta Hitchmanova, you were ready as you had learned to speak and write 6 languages. You searched for orphaned youngsters all over Europe, little ones whose mommies and daddies had been taken away on trains, or kids whose parents were brutally pulled out of the house and shot by soldiers in the streets. Soldiers in the streets. And children who got confused and lost, running away from big, heavy tanks. Big, heavy tanks. War means that farmers in fields and farm workers suffer. Farm workers suffer. Lotta Hitchmanova, after you founded the Unitarian Service Committee in Canada, you were ready with money to pay for food and care for children. Thank you, Lotta Hitchmanova. You are part of us. by the way, the organization that she founded and guided for 40 years still exists with a focus on justice and equity. The organization today is called Seed Change, SEEDCHANGE, Seed Change.
Each time we gather, we hear words from one of the 6 sources of Unitarian Universalism. Today's reading is by Alexis Pauline Gumbs, who refers to herself as a queer Black troublemaker and a Black feminist love evangelist. By her own words, her work in this lifetime is to facilitate infinite, unstoppable ancestral love in practice. She wrote a book called Undrowned, which tells Black feminist lessons through the lens of marine mammals. And this is an excerpt from the chapter called Breathe. Breath is a practice of presence. One of the physical characteristics that unites us with marine mammals is that they process air in a way similar to us. Though they spend most or all of their time in water, they do not have gills. We too, on land, are often navigating contexts that seem impossible for us to breathe in, yet we must. The adaptations that marine mammals have made in relationship to breathing are some of the most relevant for us to observe, not only in relationship to our survival in an atmosphere that we have polluted on a planet where we are causing the ocean to rise, but also in relationship to our intentional living, our mindful relationship with each other. There is more than one way to breathe in the Arctic. Ask the narwhal, the beluga, the bowhead whale. Beluga shapeshifts, evolved to look like ice itself, and congregates in the shallow estuaries, singing. Narwhal stays in deeper water, nearer to pack ice, grows a horn to break through, and changes color over its life. Needs no other teeth, just that big one. And the bowhead says bigger is better, and she moves alone, strong enough to break ice with a bare skull, old enough to remember before all of this, she has never stopped growing. And you? Maybe it's time to remember that there is more than one way to breathe in icy depths or summer heat. To thank your ancestors for how you have evolved in the presence of polar bears and harpoons and other threats. To think on what you want to shift, how you want to grow, and what you need to remember. And me? It was always you I loved, not your elegant strategy. I will love you still if you now outgrow it. I will love you more whether time moves forward or backward, whether ice melts or water freezes back. Whether your next move is protection or breakthrough or shift or any combination, there are at least 3 ways to love you: as you were, as you are, and as you will be. And I love you, and that means I choose all 3. Our opening hymn today is in the Teal Hymnal, number 1009, Meditation on Breathing. We hope you will join your voices with ours in celebration. You can stand if you'd like.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, breathe in,
Now we're going to have a slideshow that's called Queer Religion. And the goal of the collection, the photo collection, Queer Religion, is to, and these are the words of the artist Frances Marshall, to force conversation between two of the greatest paradoxes that exist today, queerness and religion. And as a queer atheist, this photographer, Frances Marshall, wants to spotlight and celebrate prominently open queer leaders in religion. These subjects risk so much personally in order to live in their truth and create positive change within the monotheistic religions that they represent. The subjects captured here provide a safe space within institutions that historically have promoted queer phobia. So I'm joined up here with Juju Faragher. Juju Faragher, who's here today from the Montrose Center. And so we're going to read together some of the quotes that are captured from the folks that are photographed in these slides. And as we read these quotes, I encourage you to gaze at the pictures that Frances Marshall took and notice if there are any assumptions or emotions that arise within you.
Black queer Christian identity has taught me not to just exist, but to thrive as me, as the person God made me to be. It has gifted me spaces of deep belonging amongst a chosen family who each, in their own way, rock my soul, carry my griefs, and share my joys. Father Gerald Robinson Brown of the Methodist Church.
Queerness in religion is as innate to faith as love is, where love is the foundation of our faith. My queerness and faith as a Muslim and my love for Allah and all creation are one and the same. Shaira Chowdhury, they, she, Muslim and co-founder of Transactivism UK.
Without a bit of queerness, religion can grow rigid and sour. Queer people and perspectives offer renewal, an opening out to those who would otherwise turn away. The ultimate queerness we can approach is the divine, the totally other, which is also the elusive meaning within ourselves. Rabbi Mark Solomon, he, him.
Many people, perhaps unknowingly, make rather exaggerated claims using the Bible as their source to oppose homosexuality. But homosexuality plays a very minor role in the Bible, much smaller than the rules on food, farming, care of the stranger, and charity. Rabbi Dr. Harry Cedar, they, them, Jewish chaplain at King's College, London.
Over 30 years ago, I woke with the words formed in my mind, assuring me that God loved me in my sexuality. Gradually, I realized that God loved me in my gender identity too. May this be true for you. Mother. Christina Beardsley, SMMS, she, her.
The diversity of human experience, including queerness, reflects the boundless creativity of the divine, teaching us to embrace all expressions of love and identity within religious communities. The Reverend Jide Macaulay, he, him, British Nigerian activist and Anglican minister. Rabbi Meshulam Zuzya's students asked why he was afraid of dying. In the world to come, I will not be asked, why were you not Moses? What will I say when I'm asked, why were you not Zuzya? Our queerness and spirituality thrive when we are empowered to be our authentic, congruent selves, inclusive of our sexual orientation and gender identity. Rabbi Indigo Jonah Raphael, he, they.
Submission to my faith and queerness, a form of peaceful acceptance of the terms of the universe, to Allah, including the things we are currently unable to change or comprehend. Sazia Patel, Muslim, co-creator of Al-Khwasi Collective.
The perceived incompatibility between religion and queerness is odd, given that religion is centered around a relationship with God, who, by nature, is other. Unsurprisingly, many who know themselves to be other more fully comprehend the enormity of God's love. Father Simon Buckley, he, him.
Some queer people have made me feel ashamed for identifying as religious. Some Muslims have made me feel guilty for embracing my sexuality. However, there is no separating the two because they are essential parts of me and also have no impact on one another in the slightest. Zain Islam Hashimi.
Love does not exist. Love is in the evidence. Being true to who we are as LGBTQIA+ people is the evidence that God is love for every human being. Father Bernard Lynch, he, him.
Throughout history, religion has adapted and developed to reflect new knowledge and the reality of the time. A person's gender or sexuality is not a barrier to their religious practice or spiritual connection. We all come as full humans with a multitude of identities, and all of which should be embraced and celebrated. Humanity was made perfectly in a divine image, therefore each and every one of us is holy. Kentor Tamara and Rabbi Anna Wolfson, she, hers.
Francis is currently seeking a publisher to work with on this book and doing this work in Great Britain, connecting with lots of European spaces. I was emailing back and forth with her over the past week, and she said that this may be the first time that this has been publicly showed in America. So if you feel curious about the conversations that she's had or want to engage more meaningfully with her work, I hope you'll find me after the service.
Emerson collects an offering each week, like many other communities of faith, but our offering is not for our church, which is supported by the annual pledges of our members. We collect our Sunday offering to give to others because we know that giving is both a transformative spiritual act and an important way to live our values. 75% of today's offering will go to our June's Share the Plate recipient, the Montrose Center. The Montrose Center empowers their community, primarily lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer, LGBTQ, individuals and their family, to live healthier, more fulfilling lives. The center is working toward a healthier society marked by permanent, positive changes in attitude and behaviors toward the LGBTQ, and the ability of all LGBTQ individuals to realize their fullest potential. The remaining 25% of today's offering will go to Interfaith Ministries Meals on Wheels, which provides thousands of meals every day to Houston's homebound seniors. You can go to our webpage for online giving, put cash or a check in our offering plates or box, or mail a check to the church. During the offering music, children who want to attend their RE class may follow their teacher to the classroom.
The meditation today is on the colors of the pride flag, and this was written by transgender counselor and educator Dr. Stacy Rye-Hetzer. So let's now prepare ourselves to be fully present in this moment. We'll move into this moment with breath, in through your nose, out through your mouth, an easy inhale and exhale. Lower your eyes or close them if you'd like, and imagine your spirit just floating free of commitments and time constraints, free of stressors. Just be in this space. Now allow your mind to be filled with the color purple and all of its richness and grandeur. See yourself as a free entity who may name themselves as they wish, and is free to love who they love, and who is free to express themselves as they choose to. Allow your being, the thing about you that is essential, that is enduring, to soar. Simply be with this moment, surrounded by purple, your being. Now allow yourself to feel awash in the color of the deep blue sea. Just be here now. Lay down your burdens, your conflicts, the problems that you have been contemplating. Experience the surrender that comes from just acknowledging your right to serenity. You have the right to serenity in every part of your life. Allow serenity and the color blue to wash over you. And allow the dark blue to transform to beautiful turquoise. Pay attention to the transformation. Just as this transformation is allowed to take place, notice now your ability to exist as a change agent, one who may choose to transform the parts of their life which require change. Focus your attention on the power of your magic, the power to manifest what you need for your life and every moment. Just be with the color turquoise. Next, allow the natural world's light to fill your focus. The color green surrounds you as you recognize the natural world in its many, many shades. Notice the naturalness of your existence, your sexuality, your gender, your way of being. Pay attention to any needs that you might have for time in the natural world, and to be surrounded by fresh and clean air. The sound of wind and birds, the texture of grass and leafy trees. Just be with this moment of nature as it speaks to you. Be with the color green. Allow your attention to move up toward the sun and the color yellow. Imagine the warmth of sunlight on your face, on your arms and legs. Feel the sunlight as it cascades over, and bring to mind any parts of your life that feel dark or hidden. Is there something in the shadows that now needs to be brought to light? Hold this part with tenderness and allow the summer sun to illuminate this matter, this part of your life that's been hidden away or unaddressed or denied. Simply allow the sunlight to wash over every part of your life so you can feel its warm and protective rays, and feel now the color yellow. Move your attention now to the color orange. Notice how much work you've done to heal the hurts of your story, whatever they may be. Notice all that it took within you to engage in healing work, and how very wise you've become as a result of the conscious effort you've put into healing parts of your life that once reflected illness and despair. And if there's a part of your experience that now needs healing, allow this to make itself known. See this part of your life that's in need of healing, bathed in orange light, made clear by the power of this color. Allow awareness to come about for anything needed in order to heal this part of you. Simply be with the healing power of the color orange. Allow your focus to be filled with the color red, the force of life itself. Notice the intensity and aliveness of the color red, of what it means to be fully human in this moment. Be conscious of how it feels to live in the space that you occupy, this body, as you experience it. Notice the vitality of all that you are in the blood flowing through your body, what it is to be here now, fully alive and present in this moment. Notice the color red. And shift your perspective now to the color pink. And this is no pale pink. This is a bright, intense fuchsia. This is your sacred sexuality, and it transcends any concern of your partner status or your romantic activity. This is a part of you that is yours to express, to celebrate, and to cherish. Allow yourself to love every part of your sexuality, expressing and experiencing this without shame or judgment. It's part of what makes you you, and it's part of your connection to all of us. Be in the celebration of your sexuality and the color pink. With this connection, notice the color brown and what it feels like to be included, to be a part of something. Notice how it feels to have family of choice who see you and include you, who make room at the table for you no matter what's going on in any given moment. And with your mind, imagine yourself including people who may have felt left out in portions of their lives. Witness the color brown and its role in your life. Is there an opportunity for you to reach further into inclusion, to provide for those who have been denied it? Brown's power can help you be more loving and inviting. Notice those qualities now as you see the color brown. Did you experience the power of giving and receiving inclusivity in your life? And finally, see the color black. Peer into it. Let it surround you. But don't become lost or afraid in black, for the longer you stare into it, the more you are able to discern shapes. Allow your mind's eye to now see fully all the shapes around you, queer people and experiences who exist in all directions of where you are. Queer people everywhere of the many beautiful races, cultures, tribes of humans, the endless expressions of sexuality and gender, the endless ways of being in the world and representing our queerness. See the queer people in your community. Expand your scope to include those outside of your region, outside of your state, outside of your nation. Queer people on every inhabited continent, some who live in freedom, many who do not. If you'd like, place your hand over your chest or your heart and feel compassion for every queer human on the planet and every ally who loves us as you reach out with your own love and compassion. Feel the pulse of queer humanity. Imagine our hearts beat as one, thundering loudly so the world sees us and hears us and believes us. This is what it means to be queer. This is what it means to be free. Take one final breath and return to our space. The words for our second reading today are from the Reverend Mandy Huizenga. This is an excerpt from her sermon, Centering Love and Inspiration. Queer studies, including queer theology, is all about opening our horizons, eliminating our assumptions, and exploring unlimited possibilities. Queer theory says not only is there a third option, but a fourth, a fifth, a ninth, a 16th. But in this examination of constructed society, queer theology does one other really important thing. Queer theology examines power. Who has the power? Are they using it responsibly? Who gets to determine what is acceptable? Who gets to punish the nonconformists, and why? When we look at our sources, we are looking at queer theology in practice. The whole concept of a living tradition is queer, rejecting the certainty of belief that stands forever in favor of a fluidity of belief that grows and evolves. This is true of our sources as well. Our sources encourage a responsible search for truth and meaning, not limiting the authority, but rather finding beauty in the diversity of authority. That is, not one source is given preference over another. This is one of the most profound differences between us and other religions, and it is something worth honoring and protecting. As Unitarian Universalists create ritual, liturgy, worship, ministry, and spiritful spaces, we look to these many sources to understand who and what we are, and who and what we are not. And because our community is an amalgamation of people who have been Unitarian Universalists their whole lives, and many who were born and raised in different faiths, our experiences together weave an ever-changing tapestry that ideally adapts to meet our community's needs. Creedal faiths and their guidelines offer the gift of clarity. This is in bounds and that is not. This is what we believe and that is not. But the spaciousness of Unitarian Universalism gives freedom from such limitations. But, as we learned from Spider-Man, with great power comes great responsibility. As we practice multi-religiosity in our pulpits, in our small group ministries, in our homes, in our hearts, we must also practice discernment. We receive guidance from the major religions of the world, from earth-centered practices, from poetry and the arts, from language, science, and debate, and from each of our own precious experiences. But what do we use to determine the content that is right for our own communities and our own lives? The Unitarian Universalist God is as changing and unique and varied and fluid as each member of our community. Our understanding of the organizing forces of the universe are infused by very personal experiences, hopes, and explorations. Like Reverend Mandy Huizenga reminded us in the reading, our community's commitment to refusing the binary and exploring the roots of power is inherently queer. Again, she says, the whole concept of living tradition is queer, rejecting a certainty of belief that stands forever in favor of fluidity of belief that grows and evolves. An important component of our Unitarian Universalist identity is our deep and shared commitment to intersectional liberation. This is the understanding that none of us are free until we all are, and that our justice work is to get everyone as free as possible by their terms, listening to what they want, using each of our unique tools and privileges. By living into the multi-religiosity of our faith, we can live more fully into the call to shared liberation. There is never only ever one path, one solution, or one savior. And the more responsibly we expose ourselves to the cultures of the world, the better we take care of the people in our communities. Our work is to create more justice, more celebration, and more safety for queer communities both in and out of our churches, and this is reflected in the action of our lives. In our Unitarian Universalist spaces, we build and nurture our relationship with Spirit, and then fortified by this work and community, we go into the wider world to bring our values to life. Here to talk about bringing our values to life and doing work tending to our community, I invite back to the pulpit Juju of the Montrose Center to join this conversation and remind us of the power of action in community.
Well, good morning, everyone. Wow, that's so much better than, I teach yoga, and sometimes I'll say good morning to folks, and it'll just be silent. I'm like, okay, we're still waking up. So I'm glad that you're all awake. My name is Juju Faragher. I use he and him pronouns. I'm a cisgender queer man. My family immigrated here to Houston in '99. I earned my degree from the University of Houston in 2019. I currently live in Houston's historic Montrose with my partner of 7 years and our lovely dog. I'm active in a Houston gay run club, and I'm an avid supporter of local Houston drag. I'm also a Houston-based yoga teacher. But my primary job is as a youth services specialist at the Montrose Center, where working with our Hatch Youth program, providing a safe and affirming space for LGBTQ youth where they can be themselves, free from bullying, discrimination, or any harassment that they might receive in the outside world. And I know you might be thinking it's really not about you, and I'm like, you're right, it's not about me. But the reason that I say these things is because these are roles and identities and labels that I put on myself. And I think the most important thing is to recognize what we are at our fundamental truths. To say the least, I'm passionate about community. And so beyond these titles and roles that I play as son, partner, dog dad, runner, yoga teacher, youth services specialist, I enjoy telling stories. And that's because stories have the ability to connect us to a power larger than ourselves. So a little bit of pride story time today. So 15 years ago, I had no idea about the events of Stonewall in 1969. I had no idea about the revolutionary and fabulous trans women of color, Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, who lit the fire for the modern gay liberation movement during the 70s. I was unaware of the racism and the transphobia that dominated this time as well and pushed these figures, their voices, to the sidelines. Our community, however, did not forget their stories, and our community prevailed through the AIDS epidemic, through fear, through hatred, and bigotry. And we did it all with a little bit of style, some flair, and some joy. And so their fight and movement has become our fight and movement. But there's one problem here from that whole Stonewall era, is that Stonewall is really far away from Houston, Texas. And it can be really hard to connect the stories that happen so far away. So I'd like to bring you here into Houston, and because our experience here in the heart of Texas is vastly different than the experience of our siblings in New York. So almost 50 years ago, in June 1977, a singing orange juice lady by the name of Anita Bryant was set to appear in Houston, Texas for a singing engagement. Bryant was known for her disapproval of homosexuals and led an active campaign against many anti-discrimination ordinances across the country. Her arrival in Houston was met by thousands of protesters who took to the downtown streets and for the first time here in Houston realized the power of community. And these were people of all walks of life, all faiths, all race, all gender identities and sexual orientations coming together. And for the first time, our community saw how we could rally around a common goal and fight for what's right. No longer do we need to hide, and this protest lit the fire for Houston's LGBTQ activism and marked the beginning of the Houston Pride March every June. This momentum led to one of the most significant in Houston's LGBTQ history, Town Meeting 1. Town Meeting 1 was held at the Astro Arena, now commonly referred to as NRG Arena, in NRG Park, and approximately 3,500 people attended. Town Meeting 1 brought together a community of folks who had seen the success of Stonewall, felt the power of the protests in the previous year, and hoped to create a dialogue that would motivate our community to work towards a common goal. Town Meeting 1 resulted in the creation of the Gay and Lesbian Switchboard, a 24-hour hotline, the Montrose Clinic, now Legacy Community Health, and most significant to me, because it employs me, the Montrose Counseling Center, now known as the Montrose Center. The Montrose Center started because folks saw a need in the community that wasn't being met, a need for LGBTQ affirming therapy. 10 years later, in 1987, a group of teens, along with some supportive adults, saw a need as well, a need for a third space where LGBTQ teens could connect and be themselves. So they met in a supportive church. Fun fact, it's actually a Universalist church. So little fun fact for you. And these teens formed the Houston Area Teen Coalition of Homosexuals, now commonly referred to as Hatch Youth, the longest-running LGBTQ youth group in Houston. As the Montrose Center continued to grow and expand its services to encompass HIV and AIDS services and supports, an anti-violence program, so too did Hatch grow until into Hatch Youth was finally brought under the wing of the Montrose Center in 2003. Today, the Montrose Center stands as a community hub with a plethora of expansive services and 46 years of empowering LGBTQ Houston under its belt. So why do I share this story? It's because Houston has history. And as this history has the ability to connect all of us at our intersections of faith, race, age, sexual orientation, and gender identity. It gives us the ability to see each other as fundamental truths in a system that continuously attempts to distort our inherent beauty as humans. Each person, each youth that walks through our doors has a fundamental truth, each one a story, and our responsibility as community is to make sure that these folks feel empowered to be themselves, but most of all, to give them the ability to tell their own stories. So, quick little off-script moment here for me. Before I showed up today, I was actually a little bit nervous about being here. Queerness and religion hasn't always gone hand in hand. And after speaking with Nina and being here today, I'm so incredibly honored for this space and for the truths that you all tell here in this space and just being yourselves. It's important during this day and age, this time period that we're all in, that we recognize how important it is to connect with each other and to support each other, and to make sure that the folks who are being left out on the margins are brought into our space. So I want to thank you all so much for welcoming me here into your space today. So much peace and love. Thank you all so much.
Our closing hymn today is called We Belong to One Another. It is sung to the tune of hymn 126 in your gray hymnal, Come Thou Fount of Every Blessing. This alternative text was written specifically for the First Unitarian Church of San Jose. So please sing along. The alternate text is going to be on the screen.
We belong to one another.
Each time we come together, we move. We move with the words we hear. We move with the music we hear. We move with the light of the chalice, which, like us, flickers and flutters from side to side, moving constantly, yet tethered to its source. We extinguish this chalice now, not as a symbolic ritual, but as a practical ritual. We do this because the flickering, fluttering light of our congregation is carried within each of us here present, those not present today, those who have left this community long ago, never to return, and those who have yet to arrive. Thank you, Hans, for extinguishing the chalice for us. We are so grateful for your presence here this morning. For those of you who have joined us on YouTube, after the postlude, we'll be ending our live streaming service. We love having you and look forward to seeing you here again, whether it's online or here with us on Bering Drive. As we break our sacred space, may the abundance and care that we fostered here spill out into our wider world. May your work of living and loving be infused with the support of our community. May you continue to create and build and nurture. May you carry softly the pressures of the world and remain open to the mystery of all that's to come. Go in peace and power.
you.